Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Legacy Leaders. Today, I'm joined by Kelly Maclean of the Kelly Maclean Achievement Center. I want to tell you, Kelly has an amazing story of perseverance, grit, and taking charge of her own dream. So, before we get into all the details behind the story of Kelly, I'm going to give you the chance to introduce yourself. So, Kelly, the microphone and camera are yours. Tell us
Fabulous.
about yourself.
So I'm Kelly Maclean. I'm the founder and president of the Kelly Maclean Achievement Center. And when a lot of people look at our website, they think tutoring, test prep, maybe some college applications, but really we're strategic partners for the family. And when I say that, I mean our reach goes so much further than just the items that need to be checked off. I had a student yesterday thought she wanted to run in college. She had reached out, filled out a recruiting form, and then the coach messaged her and said, "Hey, I want to jump on a call. Are you good for this time and day?" And panic set in. And she told her parents, "I don't want to do this. I'm not doing this. I don't know why I thought about this." And the parents shot me a message. I got her in 3 hours later, and she had a conversation with one of my success coaches who was a D1 college athlete. And then as she was leaving, I said to her, I said, "Hey, just because somebody asks you to go to the dance doesn't mean you have to go." I'm like, the ball's in your court. You get to decide. And today the mom said, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." In 1 hour, her attitude completely changed. And the mom who was not here put that quote in here. So I know the daughter went home and repeated, just because you get asked to the dance doesn't mean you have to go. And that's what we do. We're strategic partners. We're not just checking the boxes, although we do a great job at all that stuff. We're really here to make the process smooth, eliminate the fears, eliminate the stress and anxiety, the overwhelm, and save parents money in the process.
Yeah, that's
Plus
I think
the
the key.
sanity.
Yeah. So people have an understanding of what you do at the Achievement Center. As you said, you're a strategic partner for the family as they go through an education journey. So let's walk through a little bit of how did we get here, right? I know it's been 15 plus years you've been doing this. Three different office locations. You've started and built up. You've grown out of a current space. You moved to a new one. So now you're in the third office space. You have full-time employees. You have some 1099 employees. So you have a staff that's kind of built around this idea, this dream of I'm going to help families figure out how to navigate the craziness that is going from high school to college. So walk us through a little bit about what is it that you do, how are the services, and let's give people an understanding of what you do at the Achievement Center.
Okay, perfect. So it's not just high school to college. It's really high school to what's the career path. We work with a
Yeah.
lot of students who are looking at the trades, who are looking at entrepreneurship, who are looking at, something that's outside of the box. And so we're really able to help students navigate whatever that looks like, because it's changed a lot since their parents would have gone through this process. And parents feel overwhelmed. So, how it started was I was working in college admissions and I was also coaching varsity girls high school soccer. So, between going into high schools, talking to students, talking to my players, I felt like I was surrounded by high school students 24/7, which has not stopped. But I heard kids making mistakes. A kid would say, "Oh, I'm going to go to this college, I think." And okay, great. What do you want to study? "I want to study business." "Well, that college doesn't offer business." "Wait, what? What do you mean they don't offer business?" "Yeah, they don't." Or kids wanting to play soccer and looking at schools that, their ability wasn't a good match for the school, but didn't mean they couldn't play somewhere. And so helping them find the right path. And as I did this, players that I was coaching, their families saw the advantages, referred me to total strangers, and I told total strangers, "I have a full-time job. I have a part-time job. If I'm going to help you, like I have to charge you." And family said, "Okay." And I was like, "Oh, wow." And literally within a year, I quit my full-time job. I was a single parent with no alimony, no child support. And I took that leap of faith and said, "Okay, I'll figure it out."
Damn. Okay, the number of things to unpack here. But first, I want to tackle the idea of the leap of faith.
Mhm.
Every entrepreneur, every business owner at some point just said, I'm going to do this. What was the message that went through your brain? What was the thing that actually got you to take that leap?
Okay, so we're going to dive a little bit deeper, a little bit off topic initially.
Okay.
So I was working in coaching and it was December and I had a lump right underneath my chin. And I went to the doctor's office. I'm like, I have this lump all of a sudden. And they're like, oh, it's probably a virus. Your lymph node's swollen. It's not a problem. Don't worry about it. Okay, great. 25 days later, middle of January, I have another lump. And I went back into the doctors. I said, look, for 45 years, I've never had a lump. In 1 month, I've got two. What's going on? And
Yeah.
they did blood work. And I'll never forget, I was driving home from work. It was a Friday afternoon. It was about 4:30 p.m. And I was driving through the metro parks. Cleveland metro parks are amazing. And I love to drive through them every chance I have. And I'm driving through the metro parks towards home, and the doctor's office calls. And it's the nurse practitioner. She says, we need you to come in. I said, no,
Mm,
you don't need me to come in. Just tell me. Well, no, we don't like to give information over the phone. I said, look, the worry over the weekend is much worse than anything you tell me. And so I convince her to tell me, and I pull into a spot, and she tells me, well, it appears you have lymphoma. And I'm like, great. My dad was diagnosed with lymphoma a year ago. He was on chemo for 6 months, but like never lost his hair, never got sick, nothing. Like, I got this. Like, I'm good. Just tell me where to go next. And she set up an appointment for me to go to see an oncologist. Well, the oncologist wanted to do biopsies, did biopsies, and says, you don't have lymphoma. Okay, well, what do I have?
yeah.
We don't know. In the meantime, though, my shortness of breath was so horrific. I couldn't climb a flight of steps and talk to anyone. And literally at the time, I weighed 116 pounds. I'm 5'3". You would have thought I weighed 500 pounds at 5'3", the way I was huffing and puffing going up a
Yeah.
flight of steps, and couldn't stay awake more than, past 7 p.m. I was exhausted, just constantly exhausted. So there was definitely something wrong. It wasn't just a matter of these two lumps. So went through testing all the way through May. In May, they did two surgeries. They did the initial biopsy I just mentioned, and then they did another biopsy where they went in behind my lungs to pull, because in all these tests, all the lymph nodes behind my lungs, they said lit up like a Christmas tree in every MRI. And so they went in to pull some of those lymph nodes out. And they diagnosed me with an autoimmune disease where there's no cure. Bernie Mac died of this autoimmune disease. I got the diagnosis at like 11 a.m. on a Thursday morning. And at 11:45, sitting down at my uncle's funeral lunch, I told my mom what I had. And she said, well, that's what your uncle just died of.
Oh my God.
And I had had no idea. So now suddenly I'm faced with an incurable disease that I know two people who have died from this. And so I evaluated what was happening in my life. And I was in a very stressful, um, emotionally vacant marriage. And I was like, this just isn't working for me. So I literally rented a condo, didn't tell my then husband, paid for it for a few months to make sure I could pay for it. Like I'd be able to make ends meet and pay for it. And 6 months after, well, I also became 100% vegan in the meantime. I did a ton of
Mhm.
research, like, how can I stop this? And I went 100% vegan. I changed a lot of things. And 6 months later, my doctors took me off. They weaned me off all of the steroids they were giving me. And I was going for
Oh, this is
weekly
crazy.
breathing tests, and they weaned me off. I moved out of my marital home. My then husband gave me my duffel bag from the gym. He said, whatever you can fit in here, you can take. Anything else you have to leave because you'll be back. So I took my duffel bag full of the most important stuff, left my 16-year-old son at home. My daughter was away at college. And, hardest thing I ever did was leaving my 16-year-old
Mhm.
son. But you can't tell a 16-year-old, oh, you have to leave your family home because mommy's leaving. And, my son kept saying, you got to come home, you got to come home, you got to come home. And I'm like, I can't come home. I have a bedroom for you here, but I can't come home. I want you here, but I can't come home. And I didn't want to put it on him that he had to
Sure.
choose. And so, but literally, about 3 months later, he did move in full time with me. Um, but in that interim is when I started my business because I had the extra time. I'm like, I've already left my marriage, left my house, left my child, and was starting over. So
Mhm.
as I started working the business, um, I just saw the need. I saw families really wanting this information, really like it being a huge unmet need. There are guidance counselors in high schools who do an amazing job, but they're responsible for 350, 400 kids. They're also responsible for all the testing, all the schedule changes, all the disciplinary issues. That like they don't have time to go deep one-on-one and handle the crisis at 3 p.m., on a Wednesday in the summer when a kid's having a meltdown about should I get recruited or not. They're not available for that. And
Yeah,
so we work hand in hand with a lot of guidance counselors to be the extra support and try to make their jobs easier, to be honest. We're not saying we do a better job, we do a different job. And it really coincides with what they're trying to accomplish, but have the limited resources and time to be able to do.
yeah.
So my leap of faith was like, if I could leave my son to become healthy, I can start a business. And if it fails, I'll get a job. I've had jobs before. I can get a job.
There are leaps of faith, and then there's leaps of faith. And the what you've just described is an incredible leap into a vast unknown with the faith that I'm going to make it work come hell or high water. And
Mhm.
the phrase that we talked about last time that always rings true whenever I think about you is that just doesn't work for me. And that's kind of like your mentality of hey, whatever you have planned for me, that doesn't work for me. I've got other plans.
Yeah,
Whatever
right.
somebody has been told you can't get into this college or you don't have the financials available to do it, your mindset is, well, that doesn't work for me. We'll figure it out for you. If that's where you want to go, we're going to bridge the gap between whatever it is going on today and the future you want, whether it's trade school, college, community college, whatever it is. Your guidance or your achievement centers are working towards getting people, kids, right, to figure
Mhm.
out what do I do next? And not even, I don't even know what I want to do next, but at least help me. And I think what you're providing is a very valuable resource to families because today there's so many kids that are forced, quote unquote, forced to go to college and they're not ready for it, or they don't want to go, or they can't afford it. They become unbelievably in debt for a degree they'll never be able to make money with, but yet that's what they thought they should have done when they left high school. So I applaud what you're doing. I think it's
Thank you.
amazing. Absolutely. So if I'm thinking about all these things that you do, the growth of the business and all that, what's the challenges that you faced that let you realize I'm not alone. I know how to do this. I can fix this. So what are the challenges that you have faced that give you the strength or the courage to remember, yeah, I did that. I can help somebody else with it too. So what pops into your brain?
So, biggest challenges, I would say, is not really knowing how to run a business. Like, oh, there's an exchange of cash, that's fabulous. And then all of a sudden you have more clients, and okay, now I need an assistant. How do I get an assistant? Like, what do I do? And I'm an avid learner myself, which I think has been one of the biggest benefits to me is that I like to learn, I like to understand, I like to know how things work. And I followed a podcaster in the business world who was putting on a class about how there's, the visionary in the business, and then there's the integrator, the person who's supposed to be integrating. And so I had an assistant, but the flow wasn't smooth. I wasn't a good delegator. I didn't hold her accountable to hold me accountable. So I had her take this class. And basically, the person who hosted this class, her name was Jamie. Jamie told my former assistant, it's your job to make sure she gets stuff done. Like her head's going in seven different directions. She's trying to fulfill things. She's thinking of what's next for the business. And if she doesn't give you stuff back, like you have to call her out on it. And so my assistant started calling me out on things to make sure things got done. And so that was huge. And that assistant had told me she'd be with me a year. She was in the middle of her master's, working part-time for me. She's like, I'll be with you a year till my master's is over. And she was here for 6.5. And she was a godsend, just a godsend. And in the meantime, I've had some other great employees, but one challenge is when you get not great employees, I'm
Mhm.
way too slow to let them go. I feel bad. I want to make it work. I try, and so um, I'm not the best at cutting ties and so
Okay.
forth. And
It's a
I
tough,
think, well, they can get better.
yeah, Kelly, it's a tough situation, right? There's so many different scenarios that come into play when you're trying to build the right team. And there's a number of different things that come into play in my mind. If they're a friend of yours and they work for you, they should understand what you're trying to do and know as a friend, I can't keep holding you back and be the anchor. I got to let you go. If they're an employee of yours, they have to understand the business side of things. You're not good enough. You're holding me back. I got to let you go. We are so afraid as owners of businesses to step into that world of ownership that we refuse to let our dream take the front center stage while we allow somebody else's incompetence to take our attention for months, if not years.
Oh, yeah, for
Right.
sure.
But here's the interesting thing about what you just told us, right? One of your biggest challenges is the working relationship or getting somebody to be a good employee. But yet you also told us somebody was only supposed to be here a year, and 6.5 years later, she finally ended up departing the organization. So clearly, you have a talent to keep people engaged and part of your vision and what you want for the business because she stayed for 6.5 years. But when you have the wrong apple in the bushel, it really makes it hard for the rest of the organization to operate because everyone's attention negatively goes to that person.
Hmm.
And we recently were at a growth symposium for the Greater Akron Chamber. And we were listening to all these different entrepreneurs and business owners talk about what it took to go from point A to point B, and then point B to point Z, where they're finally successful, everything works well. And to a person, the whole symposium all came up with the idea that was mirrored multiple times. The same people that got me from point A to point B are not the right people to take me from B to Z. And it's not that they're bad. It's not that I don't like them. It's not that they're evil or anything that's incompetent about them. It's just their mindset was, I'm ready for growth. I can help you build this. But when it became ready for prime time work, they're not that person. They don't have that same mentality. Or the other side of the equation is they're just not good enough to continue on with a growth or sustainability and now scalability. They're not ready for that. So sometimes the hardest decision is making the one that says, I am going to move forward without these people. It's hard. I get it. But it sounds like you've kind of figured out a way around that. So talk to me. What happened to this bad employee?
Oh, I've let two bad employees go.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, and it was hard and I held on too long. I'm very, very blessed that I have three full-time success coaches who are amazing. Like one has been here, I think going on 7 years in August. And so they've been here a long time. The others are newer, but I see long-term growth for them and plans for them. I have a couple of 1099 part-time tutors who again are amazing and just have the understanding. I think my I think one of the things that I value most is people who take initiative.
Mm,
And so much so that, we see now in college applications, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it was enough to check all the boxes. Oh, I was in National Honor Society, Key Club, I played a sport, I did, it was enough to check the boxes. And what we see now is colleges are really looking for initiative. And, we have three students that got the Morrill Scholarship at Ohio State this year. All three of them had very distinct initiative projects. We call them standout projects. And, really showing that initiative. And it is something I value so greatly in an employee who can see the next step and take it and not wait for instruction. Oh, you didn't tell me. Well,
mhm.
logically, this would be the next step. Like, let's do this. And so sometimes I think maybe that expectation isn't fair, I feel like sometimes. But, even with our students, we're really trying to get students off the Well, teacher didn't tell me to do it. No one said I had to have this done. No one gave me a date. We're trying to really empower students to take control and not rely on a teacher and to do the extra things and become who they're supposed to be without somebody telling them to become that person. And so that's my big challenge when hiring because people will tell you they take initiative. I had one employee and he felt like he was doing a great job. I said, "Where do you think you are in initiative on a scale of 0 to 5?" He's like, "Oh, I'm at least a 4.5, maybe a 5." And I said, "Why do you say that?" He's like, "Well, because every time like I see something that needs to be done, I come to you and let you know." And I said, "Yes, you're dropping your monkeys on my desk. That's not initiative. You're
That's
you're not taking initiative to fix this. Like I'm like the circus leader and you just keep bringing me the monkeys. Like, come on, like that's
yeah,
not taking initiative." So, a little challenge.
definitely. And I think what's interesting is when you get employees that are willing to engage in your vision, understand what your purpose is, they understand the mission you're trying to accomplish, and then the culture that you cultivate as the owner of the business permeates throughout the organization, those people are amazing and have a chance to
Mhm.
survive and thrive because they're given not the latitude to do whatever they want, but they're given the guardrails. They know what the rules are. They understand. I work here for this purpose. This is what we're trying to accomplish. I love working here for the following 5, 7 reasons, whatever the culture looks like. But I know at the end of the day, everything I do is driving towards that. And if I can engage in that capacity because the owner has created this, I will flourish for you. It's when the culture from the top down doesn't get executed or doesn't get explained, and people have a really hard time grasping at what am I supposed to be doing right now? Right. And that's why somebody that doesn't have initiative has a really hard time pushing forward. Like, I know I should be doing something, I just don't know what to do. I got an idea.
Yeah,
If it fits the vision and it follows our mission, go ahead and do it. I'm going
right,
to grant you the opportunity to take as much risk as you want, knowing that there's guardrails in place. And if you
right,
don't bounce against that voltage rail, we're fine. Take a risk, try something new. If it works, great. If not, all right, we know what way not to do it. But at least we're
right.
trying to be different. I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is good stuff. The world you live in is different. So if I were to ask, or if you were to tell me, what are the targets that you try to go after? Like, where's your market? Who do you talk to? Where do they gather? What is it that you would say so the audience kind of knows, oh, I know somebody like that. They should get in touch with Kelly.
So we work with the parents who typically seek us out are parents who want the best for their child,
Mm,
who are not just, well, everyone else is going to OU, Ohio State, Miami. That'll be good enough. They'll figure it out. They're looking for more. They're looking for the best opportunities for their kid. They're typically, a lot of times, one of the parents is a high performing executive, doctor, wealth manager. They're busy. They have a lot
mhm.
on their plate. And what they don't want to do is spend their free time micromanaging their child. Did you get that application in? Did you look at the school? When are we going to do this? When are we going to visit? Did you do this? Did you do this? Nobody wants to do that with their kid. And when it comes to senior year, I mean, we start working with students long before senior year typically. But when it comes to senior year, realistically, for a lot of people, that's going to be the last year they live full time with that child in their house. Do you want it to be confrontational the whole time? Do you want them to want to hang out with their friends even more because every time they see you, did you do your essay? Can I read your essay? Did you get this done? When is this going to be done? When are you going to be able to show it to me? Like no kid wants to hear that. But parents need to know it's getting done. And then so they rely on us.
Okay, I love this. Live your life, do the things you need to do as a parent, knowing I've I've got a partner that's actually taking care of the accountable stuff, taking care of the nitty-gritty, making sure the stuff that I need that child needs to get submitted is getting submitted. And I can step back and just relax and enjoy the fact that I'm spending what could be the last couple of months with my child before they go off to school.
Hmm.
That Kelly, I don't know if that's how you promote it, but that's an amazing value proposition that you could promote to families to say, listen, we take the stress and headaches out of the entire process because we work directly with your child to know what do they want, what are they looking for, what kind of school programming, what kind of degree do they want. All that stuff gets encapsulated into the
Hmm.
program, and we handle all the rest. So, mom, dad, you can go enjoy the last couple months with your son or daughter and not have
Right.
this stress on anybody. Because to your
Right.
point, think about the stress that comes into play with mom and dad constantly leaning over somebody's shoulder. Where's your application? Did you get it done? Now it's, hey, did you talk to Kelly and the people at the Achievement Center? Where are you? That's a
Right.
different conversation, right? And
Exactly.
then I'm going to layer it on top a little bit too. Despite, okay, given that all happening, that's great stuff. You actually give the benefit or the additional benefit of it's going to be a better financial package. It's going to be a better alignment for the child to go to the right school or the right curriculum for trades. Everything aligns to what the child wants and how the future is going
Mhm.
to get connected. All that wraps up into a nice, really cool package that every family should be enjoying. So I give you credit. How do we get in touch with you?
So probably the best way is either via text
Okay.
440-454-0850, or if they want to check out my website, it's Kelly, Kelly, at Kelly, Kelly, hyphen mac.com. On my website, there's a Calendly link to book a call. It's a complimentary call, lasts at least 30 minutes. Happy to discuss where your child's at, what your thoughts are, what your concerns are, and then how we might be able to help you mitigate all of those concerns and make it an easier process.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for this. So I've got your email, I've got a text message, and I'll put your website together as well. That's all. That's great.
Perfect.
Last couple of comments. I like to do this. Um, and you're probably shocked. We've been talking for over almost half an hour, which it goes by so fast.
So fast.
Um, Knowing all that you know about your career, knowing what you've done to build this business, if I were to put you into a time machine and send you all the way back and you get a chance to meet 18-year-old Kelly, what would that conversation sound like?
Oh my gosh. Don't wait so long.
Okay.
Don't, don't, don't live the life you weren't meant to live because out of obligation.
Okay.
Don't wait so long.
I like that. And you know why? Because that doesn't work for you. We
No, it
already
doesn't
know
work
that
for
it
it
doesn't
doesn't work
work
for
for
me
you.
anymore. No, it doesn't work for me. No.
So obviously, there's a really interesting end of your healthcare story.
Oh yeah.
And okay, the audience is probably thinking, "What the hell?" All right,
Yeah, so here we
15.
are 15
This is
years later, 15 plus years later from
and
the
you were
original
told you were not going
diagnosis.
to make it out, and here you are.
No. I mean, like I had my life insurance canceled, and I literally had a friend who got me in touch with the president of a life insurance company to see if they would write my insurance. And he even said, like, I'm standing right here with her, like she's really doing well, like she's fine. And they're like, no, sorry, you're not getting life insurance. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So I have life insurance today. It's been 15 years. I've been in remission for 14 of the 15 years. I have great health. Dr. Mark Hyman, who's the head of functional medicine at the Cleveland Clinic, he started a program. It's called Function Medicine, Function Health. But online, you can go and check it out. And I think it's on sale right now. Actually, I'm promoting him, but it's like
Huh.
250 bucks. You literally they do over 100 blood tests for this $250, and they tell you all your markers, and they go into great detail. It's not just like what your cholesterol is, for instance. It's like the size of the HDL molecules and the size of
Oh,
the LDL. Like they go into great depth because more better analysis. So I had mine done in December, this past December, and it came back that I was 12 years and 3 months younger than I am. So I'm super proud of my health journey because I don't know a lot of people my age who feel as good as I feel and who might get those type of test results back. So
well, congratulations on that. And
thanks.
it's a great continuation of a phenomenal story. So I want to thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing it with us.
Thank you.
So on your personal side, things are going great. Your business, things are going great. And this is a great opportunity for people to get in contact with you so they can find a way to use the partnership that you provide to help their family have an amazing experience with their child's education or journey after high school.
Yes.
Any final words?
If nothing else, just check it out. I know the work that we do with students really changes the students. We really give kids confidence. We give them confidence, in subjects, in
Yeah.
classes that they've been C students in test prep, but we also give them confidence to understand that they can make a decision for their future. Like they can figure out what it is, and it's not just, oh, I want to be a doctor, but I really have no idea what that means or what I
Yeah.
really want to do, or something in medicine or something in business where it sounds good to their relatives to get their relatives off their back at holiday parties, but they really don't know what they want to do. So it's worth a conversation just to see if, we can provide some insight and confidence for your kid to be able to do that.
I love the idea of helping somebody that is so insecure or uncomfortable with the discussion, giving them the confidence to have that discussion.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time. This has been great.
Thank you.
And everybody, please check out the information down below. You'll get in contact with Kelly and her team of success coaches. You never know. You too can find out a way that, it's not, that's not going to work for me. I want to work with Kelly. So thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye now. We're good.